You're listening to Melissa Gorga on Display with me, Melissa Gorga, on Podcast One.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, there is a nice piece of stock music playing behind me that a talented composer worked really hard on. So let's enjoy it. Wow, almost overshadows the saving big when you switch to Progressive part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm like, I said to someone the other day, sex for me is like a Birkin bag. Yeah, I don't have too many. I don't do it too often, but when I do it, it's great.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Melissa Gorga on Display. You guys are going to be so excited today because I have a very special lady with me who we all believe should just, live in New Jersey at this point because she's just like one of us. Can't explain it, but she's one of us. You know her as one of the former Real Housewives of New York. She's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, and the lady of the Blue Stone Manor. You can catch her on the next season starting tonight of the Ultimate Girls Trip. Ladies and gentlemen, Dorinda Medley is here.
Listen, I'm so happy to be on. I love Melissa and Joe so much. I just, always have a soft spot for you guys.
Thank you. No, I will say you do always come whenever we see you, you do have a soft spot and you always talk to us and help us through. I feel like there's a piece of you that just feels like one of us. I don't know if it's the Italian in you.
That.
Yeah.
Well, because you know what? I know how to be a lady. I know how to be sexy. I know how to be a mom, and I know how to throw down. I tell it like it is, but I always make it nice. Isn't that the way it goes?
It is. I love your isms. I miss your isms. I'm going to miss you on that. I'm going to miss that whole show actually. And I do miss you on the show. I feel like you were one of the ladies that came in and just owned it from like day one. It wasn't like you were a newbie ever. You were never a newbie.
Because remember, I knew all those girls for so long and I'd been, on in the background and we've known it's kind of like, that's why Jersey works. Cause we really knew each other. So there's been so many times when I've been off camera with the girls, I'm thinking, God, this would just make a great scene because I think it's so important, as with your show, and I think that's why it does so well, is that it's authentic. You can see these girls living like that, and you can see them interchange like that. It's not all about the hair and makeup. It's about life.
Right.
And I always say when you're a good reality star, you have to be ready for the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, and let people cycle through it and see that you're human. I do love, for a lot of these women that get on the show now, they so worry about their image and worry about what are people going to think. Who gives a shit? Let people cycle through it. Let people love you. Let people hate you. And that's how we learn from women like us, because we're perfectly imperfect.
Amen, sister. You couldn't have said it better. And that's the truth. And you know what? That is the advice I would love to give to any like newbies starting off on our show or just on all these franchises in general, because what you just said really like pins it. It's like, they're going to love you. They're going to hate you. They're going to remember whatever you did last, not what you did good like 4 months ago. And it is what it is. And just be
and who
you.
Cares? Someone said to me once in an interview, what do you think about when people and so-and-so, someone says something bad about you? I'm like, listen, I didn't know the girl before. I'm not going to know her. Ask her. This is not a popularity contest for me. Right. This is sort of an opportunity for you to see me as a multifunctional, multi-level woman that has all sides. Right. Because that's what we are. And to tell you the truth, I always say this. I will say it again. I think the women that go on Housewives and do it authentically are very brave, because it is much harder to show all sides of you than it is to show one side of you. The one side of you is easy, right? Fact. And that's, but unfortunately, if you look in history of women and stuff, the women in the 60s, 50s, 60s that only showed one side of themselves ended up with major depression, didn't have careers, ended up being very unhappy. And a lot of times in marriages that didn't work, in situations that didn't work for them. We are women. We have many different layers, and a successful woman and a woman that needs to stand forward and a woman that needs to speak her place in peace is really the woman you want to know. And that's a woman that sometimes can be a little difficult. And, maybe you don't understand her 100%, but that's okay too.
100%. And I feel like when they come on and just try to show you that good side, everyone sees right through it. When you're fake, when you're not being you, when you're not authentic, everyone sees right through it. And I will say you are definitely one of the realer ones when it comes to real life, showing your real life, what you have shown on the show, what we know about you. You know, with a lot of these women, we don't really know what their relationships were, right? We don't know what their marriages are. We still don't know what they are. And we've known half of them for 8 to 10 years. And it's still a fake thing. And I think people can really wean out who's real on this show and who is not. You know?
Well, listen, you have to talk about too the fact that it's a real incredible gift and burden when you put on these shows, because you have to keep balancing. Obviously, we are naturally all protective just as humans, but also too we have children and we have family, but you want to just be able to have people learn from you and expose yourself just enough. I hate when people say, well, you didn't, when people are faulted or people that are going through terrible times and they don't show everything. Well, it's not our job to show absolutely everything, but it's our job to teach people about going through different situations.
Right. That's 100% facts. And you would think that's why reality stars, we can be in a room sometimes, and I know you've experienced this, when the people, there could be major celebs. And I know you roll with some big people too. You go to great events. You're all over New York City and you get invited to beautiful events. You really do. Right. And I do as well. There can be A-list, and I'm talking A-list celebs.
I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
They want to say hello to us because they know us personally. They want to, they know our children personally.
I was having a conversation about that. What is that? I was really thinking about it the other day. And I got to tell you what's interesting. There sort of was like the soap opera stars, which became very big in our parents and grandparents' life. And we thought we knew about their lives. We fell in love when people got married. We were heartbroken when people died. We attended the funerals then you have these people called movie stars who played a role. And they were able to leave the role, and you didn't really feel like you knew the person. You just knew the role they were playing. The thing about when people see us, they have in their minds, they see in our children, our homes, our bedrooms, our kitchen, the way we eat, the way we cry, the way we scream, we cycle through. So all of a sudden, there's no proscenium wall, and they really have access to us, which I find, and I don't know about you, but I felt that at the MTV Awards when we walked down that red carpet. And we forget, because remember, folks, we only film 4 months a year, and then we really do go back into our old lives, right?
We do.
So when I got to the MTV Awards, and I don't know if you felt this way, but to see people just so happy to see you and really oh my God, you made it nice. And how's Hannah doing? You're like, it's really such a gift. That is the gift.
It really is. I just got the chills with you saying that, because it's the truth. And I am grateful. And I know you are too. It's something that we're grateful for, because we truly were wives and moms and housewives and just, people, just business women trying to make it out there. And this really is a gift, and it's such a platform. And I think that people like you and I are very smart. We know how to use it and we appreciate it. Right.
Absolutely. And I understand, you have to understand there's a beginning, a middle to an end of it. And while you're doing it, if I give anybody advice that's involved in a situation that you get involved in like this, is just to make sure you keep growing yourself, within it and outside of it. Obviously when I was put on pause 2 years ago, I was heartbroken because, to be honest with you, Melissa, I thought I was a great housewife. I was like, I'm one of those housewives they won't get rid of. Right. And then boom. And that's the unpredictability of life, of jobs, of everything. But the good news is, when I went to my mother and I was like, I didn't cry to anybody. I didn't even cry to Andy when he told me. I was like, no problem. That's great. You're on pause. You're not fired. Although on the show, you're going to see on the Ultimate Girls Trip, Randy's like, stop saying you're on pause. You were fired. And I was like,
no, but let me ask you this, because I spoke to Tamra Judge when I spoke to her about this. Let me ask you, she told me she literally unfollowed every single housewife and Andy Cohen and every single person on Bravo, because it hit her so hard that she didn't want to see anything Housewives, anything Bravo. It took her a real minute to get over it. She said she was deeply, it hurt her bad, and it really fucked with her head bad. She was messed up from it. How did it affect you?
Interestingly, the difference with me is I had, remember, people like Tamara started the franchise. I mean, these are the real OGs. When you take people like that, it's just they are the faces of the franchise. And when I kind of got into it was post, Richard dying and Hannah going to college, and I was 50. And even though, God, I felt terrible. I went home to my mother and I was like, I can't believe. She was like, oh, rejection's protection. Just go on and write your book. I'd just gotten a book deal with Simon Schuster. It's funny how God works that way. You know what I mean? Like a week before I just signed it. And I was thinking, how am I going to write this book and do the Housewives? And there God gave me, she's like, you're going to have a lot of time to write it.
This is exactly how you're going to do it, actually. It's funny the way the world works.
I got super lucky in the way that it was COVID. So everybody was sort of up, out of it anyway. I was already up in the Berkshires. And I have a very strong mother who just is all about staying present and really, really, really trying to believe that whatever happens is for a reason. And I just immediately leaned into that. And I hung on to the fact that it was a pause. Okay? But I didn't unfollow anyone. And quite frankly, the way I dealt with it is I just never spoke of it. And I said that at the time to everyone. I'm not going to go on interviews. I'm not going to speak of it. I really didn't have anything bad to say about it. I don't know the inner workings. We never know the inner workings of Bravo and NBC and why they make the decision. And I don't need to know. They made the decision, and I just used it as an opportunity to pivot. I'm a very good pivoter. If anything, that's one thing I do well. And I wrote my book. I started working on the Blue Stone Manor, finalizing the Blue Stone Manor bourbon. I started working on a home line. I opened up a Shopify. I mean, I sold $125,000 worth of now Well-Bitch merchandise because everybody used it during COVID.
And you have so many of those little sayings that are just like, people are just scream we are sayings. That is one thing, like the make it nice and where are you going without Dorinda? I mean, there's just so many things that you are just, they can make posters and banners of your stuff.
Well, I did it. And I gave my poor Hannah and my 86-year-old grandfather was running to UPS. And I just think, yes, it was heartbroken, but I'm going to tell you something. I think I've gone through so many different transitions and I've worn so many hats in my life that I've learned that the most important thing about change is transition. And if you get too stuck, not that Tamara was, because I love Tamara, you just got to think that there's a reason for it. So I just kind of had to lean into that belief that there's a reason. And it kind of worked out that it was. Season 13 wasn't a great season to be on the show. Right. And I was able to sort of really spend time with my parents during COVID, enjoy Blue Stone Manor, understand the branding of it, be with my family, and quite frankly, just check out a bit.
Right. Maybe it was time for a break. And as you can see, you didn't miss much that season, obviously. And look at it now. You don't know what's going to happen. So now it's all about the new stuff. Obviously, we're going to get into this Ultimate Girls Trip, which give me a minute because we're going to get there. I have a couple of personal questions for you first. And, I did the Ultimate Girls Trip, but I have a feeling it was a very different Ultimate Girls Trip than you guys are going to show us tonight. It's been a while since I had a newborn of my own, but I remember it like it was yesterday. So much changes when you're a new mom. It's exciting and it's exhausting. Trust me, I know. And something that is super important is picking the right products for your newborn. Huggies Special Delivery Diapers are their softest diaper yet. Made with responsibly sourced 20% plant-based materials by weight. They're fragrance-free, clinically proven hypoallergenic, and dermatologist tested. You can feel good about these diapers protecting your baby's gentle skin. Obviously, you guys know I had 3 little babies. They're not babies anymore, but I do know and I can tell you that worrying about the best diaper and the safest diaper is the last thing that you want to do when you just had a newborn. I always use Huggies and I recommend them to everyone. Be confident in your brand new baby's skin health with Huggies Special Delivery Diapers. Huggies, we got you, baby. Learn more on Huggies.com. Are you paying down old credit card debt? A personal loan could be your solution. Loans usually come with fixed monthly payments, making them a simple way to help pay off your credit cards. Plus, loans usually have lower interest rates than credit cards do. And Credit Karma can help you find the best option for you. Credit Karma will even show you your chances of approval. So you can choose between loan offers that you're more likely to get approved for and apply with more confidence. Comparing loan offers on Credit Karma is 100% free. It won't affect your credit scores and it can save you money. Credit Karma uses credit data to find loan offers that are personalized to you, so you can have a better idea of what loan amount you can get approved for. Ready to apply? Head to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see personalized offers. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to find the loan for you. That's creditkarma.com/loan offers. Credit Karma. Apply with more confidence today. So before we move forward, I knew you. Okay, so when I met you, I've seen you out a couple times. You did always have your ex-boyfriend, right? And I don't want to get deep into John. Are you still friendly with John? What's your relationship 100%.
With him? One thing is you can see historically, like, I'm still friendly with my first husband. He was just at my house for Father's Day. I do not. Yes. Ralph was a huge part. Well, it has always been a huge part of my life. Ralph was there when Richard passed. Ralph is still, listen, I've never dated a lot of people, and people can Google that. It's not for a reason like Ramona wants to make it out that I'm this, I'm a prude. I just get very attached very easily if I get to him. I'm very careful about who I pick. And then when I pick them, I get very attached. And I don't believe that you can have people in your life for these periods and have children and have experiences and have love and share your bed and then get rid of them. I think that things change and you adjust and maybe they don't play that same role. And each person that I've had, Ralph, who's Hannah's father, is just a wonderful guy. He was a really great choice for a father and a husband at the time. It didn't work out for its reasons, but we never not stayed a family. And we made that commitment. I remember the day we got officially divorced, Ralph and I, we bawled our eyes out. We went and had lunch at a diner. And he said, "You promised me." I was like, "Here's the keys to my apartment. Don't listen to that every Wednesday night and every other Saturday." And I used to make lasagna on Wednesday nights when Ralph had Hannah. So she didn't have to go out like all these other Upper East Side kids on Wednesday nights, wandering around with their poor fathers that didn't want to be out on a Wednesday night. And I would leave the apartment so Ralph could be with Hannah in her environment and like have like a nice time with her. Right. And it was the same. And then, I wouldn't have had Richard in my life if he didn't get along with Ralph, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't have.
So you're still friendly with your ex, John. You guys are friendly.
We just texted yesterday. Happy Father's Day. I miss you. I don't, it was John and I. John played when I look at the different, Hannah and I were talking about it the other day, the different men in my life. I don't know if I was meant to be a woman that was meant to be married. As Catholic and as traditional as I am, I, at a very young age, knew that I was going to transition a lot. I came from a family, didn't have a lot of money, working class, never was educated. And I knew that there was going to be different steps in my life I had to take. I didn't consciously say, oh my God, I'm only going to have a husband for this time. But I've had huge growth spurts. I left Great Barrington and moved to Hong Kong and lived in London. I was a single mom and then, married a man that was very involved in politics and shifted to that world. And, I just feel like I've always wanted to be so much. And, and sometimes I think, because Hannah was saying to me, "Do you ever regret divorcing Dad?" I said, "I never regret marrying Dad."
Wow.
So, which is a very
two different things, right?
But, we just grew out of each other.
Which a lot of people do. It's a normal thing. A lot of people do it.
There's no hate there. Not zero.
I mean, what is your secret
Ralph, if I were in big trouble today, honest to God, as God is my heart, if I were in trouble today, one of the first people I'd call was Ralph Lynch. And that he would literally, when I called and said to him, "Richard's sick, I need some help," he jumped in his car and came to the hospital.
He would run.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything. I mean, what is your secret for staying so like close or with an ex or having a healthy relationship with an ex? I mean, do you have any tips for any of these girls out there that, some people, they break up and they want it to be healthy and still be friends after.
I think people need to men and women have to read the signs in a relationship and understand when you're no longer growing and understand that like your happiness and the other person's happiness without involving jealousy and whatever that means is very important. And I knew when Ralph and I decided to separate, he wasn't happy with me and I wasn't happy with him.
Right.
So we were beating a dead horse. Now, could we have played it out? And I could have been, when he started dating someone else, did I still feel jealous? Yes, but that was territory. That wasn't love. Right. That was my Italian jealousy because I'm very.
Oh, I always say that. That is two different things. So a lot of times, I even realized this with old ex-boyfriends that I had before Joe. I didn't love them. It was very territorial. It was very possessive. It was like, I don't really want you, but I'm not going to let her have you. So, but it wasn't true love. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a big
thing.
You have to know, like, I knew that I wasn't happy and he wasn't happy, but I also knew that, my God, this was a wonderful father to my daughter. And I had to make sure that I was getting divorced and she wasn't, that she never felt like we were anything less than a family. And Hannah always says that. I never felt like I never really thought that, like, you would, like, people would be like, your parents are divorced too. And she'd say, well, not really, because he's in my living room all the time. Also, too, I didn't put and this is just a choice. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but when I got divorced from Ralph, like, I wasn't out there trying to meet someone again. I really am about building on the life you have and making it better, not just throwing new people in and just trying to, do quick fixes. So I was very careful about the next person I chose for myself, for my daughter, for my life, for our family, for everything. And, Richard was I was very lucky. Thank God. Richard was a very wonderful man too. We were very blessed. I only had him 6 years, but as my mother said, at the time, if he came back and said, I'm only going to be with you 6 years, but it's going to be 6 great years, would you take him? And I said, yes. She goes, well, that's what you got. So don't be greedy. I always loved when my mother said that. It was such a transitional time from point. And, now I'm out there again.
Your mother says a lot of wise things. It sounds like your mother gives you a lot of advice.
She's a character. And now I'm out there trying to date again, but it's
Have you been on any dates recently? Like, just to wrap up your little love life situation. Are we dating, Dorinda? Are we seeing anyone? Dating. Are we what?
We're not seeing anybody officially, but I put myself out there. One person I really liked, but I'm very bad at judging, like, people that like me back, because if I like you, then I like you so much and I've planned out our whole lives. But I get very disappointed. I'm kind of like a turtle that finally sticks its head out, and then when it gets hurt, I go right back into my shell.
You're like, screw you guys, I'm back in. Well, I have to say, out of all the girls,
because as tough as I am, Melissa, and as things, I get hurt very easily by people.
We never
and
see
a lot
dates.
of times when I lash out and do things, it's because I'm actually hurt, and I try to work on that in therapy, but it doesn't work because my Italian comes out, and I'm just like, fuck.
You pull a Joe Gorga when someone doesn't pay rent on TMZ.
Really bad.
That's what you're going to pull. I can't. Oh my God. Joe Gorga just came walking into my studio. I was like, don't start talking.
I love Joe Gorga.
I know. I'll let him say hi to you. I'll let him say hi. Joe, you want to say hi to Dorinda real quick?
My favorite, Joe Gorga. Dorinda. Joe, I was just singing your praises today, Joe Gorga.
You were?
Yep. I said, Joe Gorga is my kind of man. He gets up in the morning. He tells it like it is. I got to tell you something. I love that video because someone lived in my apartment, wasn't paying rent. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
4 years.
I could relate. I'm hashtag go Joe on this one.
Dorinda, look at this. Look at this.
Dorinda, he's got his work boots on right now.
Dirty work.
The man that gets up in the morning, works. I pack you lunch every day with a canister with hot soup in it.
I know you would.
Look how tan you look right now. It's
dark. Today I was burning up outside.
Hard worker.
She would pack you lunch every day. Dorinda, you're making me look bad.
That's very sexy to me, a hard worker.
Thank you, baby.
I married a man for less.
I love you. You're so wise. We need to do dinner. Okay.
Love you.
He's go to bathroom.
Yeah, do your thing.
But Dorinda, by the way, do you know how many people text me when he had that video rant with TMZ saying like, go Joe, people need to pay their rent. Like they were so team Joe with that. They were like,
that guy says he should be ashamed of himself.
All right. Well, anyway, I am going to like transition a little bit into the Ultimate Girls Trip that comes out today, June 23rd on Peacock TV. Listeners, you guys have to check it out. I know how much you guys all loved the first Ultimate Girls Trip. I will say, just from the trailer, this one looks a little different than our like Kumbaya, Turks and Caicos.
Oh, yeah.
Like it looks different. Okay. So you're there. We have Phaedra, we have Brandy, we have Taylor, we have Tamra, we have Eva, we have Jill Zarin, right?
Yep.
Am I missing
Vicky.
anyone? And you and Vicky. Oh my God. And Vicky too. We have, wow. Now these are,
and remember, we're stuck. It's different because we're not in a hotel. We are through those gates, stuck in Blue Stone Manor for 8 days. And remember, it was just we were just getting over quarantine and COVID. So there wasn't a lot to do. So a lot of it takes place in Blue Stone Manor, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Those cameras were on 12, 13, 14 hours a day at Blue Stone Manor. So, you know, it was a lot of, you know what, it was very old school in a weird way for me, because when I first went on the Housewives, that's how they did it. Like they just were in your rooms. They were.
Yes. Less restaurants.
Yeah, and very women that some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. And, you know, I've never, believe it or not, I've never really had anyone at Blue Stone Manor for 8 days, because people think I live there, but it's really my country house. It's my second home. So, you know, people come up for the weekend.
Right. So the way I go to my shore house, that's where you go for the weekend.
So imagine having all of those new women from all different franchises coming to your shore house for 8 days. And you don't know half of them.
No, we do film at my shore house, but we do like a 2-nighter. And by the end,
well,
I'm like,
you know
bye-bye.
the girls. You know the girls. I didn't know Phaedra. I didn't know. I mean, I've been on. Funny thing is, Phaedra's like, you know, we were on Watch What Happens Live one year together. I'm like, were we? Like, we totally blanked on it. But I didn't really know her. I didn't really know Eva. I really didn't. Had never met Taylor, really. I think I met her at Bill Bouquet once. We were just coming out of COVID. So I was like, what's it going to be like to even have? Because we all got a bit weird during the pandemic, right? We all kind of got set in our ways.
We were all kind of just introverted. We learned to just play on the internet, order tie-dye outfits.
Yes,
and
get very sort of like, you know, insular a little bit. And originally it was going to be 4 days. And then when they couldn't, because nothing was really open and the hotels had no staff, they decided to extend it to 8 days. And it was there were over 100 and well over 100 people. And they came like 6 days before to set up, and it was porta potties and command stations and drum. So it was I don't know how it was with Turks and Caicos, but it was a totally different production.
Totally different. Like there was cameras in the middle of the night. It felt like you were in the Big Brother house, almost like the old MTV show.
Correct.
Right? That's how this
felt. Drones everywhere.
Drones everywhere. Cameras in every corner. If you went out to get a snack in the middle of the night, you were being recorded.
Yeah,
it was so different.
By the way, you agreed to it, but it was weird. The thing that's different, it's my house, and it's a house that I sort of really cherish and have really curated. And so to have people kind of come in and just, some of them understood it, some of them didn't. You know, I'm the hostess now, which was a role I didn't really realize was going to be so, it's hard to occupy 8 girls for 8 days.
Of course. Oh my God. You know how much work that is? I mean, and listen, this is a wild cast. So I have to ask you, like, did Blue Stone Manor survive the Ultimate Girls Trip? Is there broken sconces on the floor? Are there, did they take anything? Are there holes in your walls? Like, how did it survive?
They were pretty good. I think because it was such a different level of production. But I was frightened because sometimes, I would see things going off and I'm like, this isn't a normal place. Like if you throw that, like my $20,000 candelabra is going to end up on the floor. Like this is a problem, and I would get a little bit upset when people would close themselves in rooms because it was a loss. I tell you something, it taught me something. I had to I'm a bit of a control freak anyway, and I had to really release control. The fourth day in, I cried my eyes out, I think to JP it was, and I went to bed. I was like, I just don't want to do this. It wasn't what I said. I really don't want these people in my house anymore. I bawled.
I have been there. I was
mentally exhausted. I was physically exhausted. there was some, as a hostess, you wanted like everybody to be as enthusiastic as you. And, there were some people that were thrilled to be doing activities. There were other people that were like, there was definitely glass half full, glass half empty.
Right.
And, at first I could be very enthusiastic about it. But the fourth day I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you want to do this or not. You're fucking doing it. Okay.
Then the Dorinda's coming out. The New Yorker comes right out.
At one point, Taylor called me the Dornado.
Oh my God, I can't. But so that's what I figured. Just knowing this group of ladies, like none of them are wilting flowers. Let's just say that. No one is. These are I would say if I had to pick the feistiest, if I had to pick the ones that are going to say it the most, they put you guys all together in your home. I mean,
is it a lot of queen bees? These are all the girls that kind of ruled the roost on their shows. But I will say something. I became incredibly close to Phaedra and Eva, which I really was so happy about, because I was like, God, are they going to like me? Are they going to like the house? Are they going to, there was all that too, because not everybody likes the house. Like you heard from Vicky, she didn't like it, but it's your home. So you're very sensitive about that. But, Phaedra became sort of I'm not very good at I'm always the person people come to be consoled. I don't have a lot of women in my life I can go be consoled by. And I could really knock on Phaedra's door and she'd be like, hello. I'm like, can I just talk to you? And she'd be like, come on in. And she would talk me through it. And Eva's just really just a strong, sensible, calm voice of reason.
Wait, who was it? Who was that? That was your voice of reason?
Eva Marcel. And beautiful, like stunningly. Listen, we've all seen.
She is beautiful.
But you've seen her on American Top Model, and you're like, okay, that's a beautiful girl. No, but when she's in real life, I mean, I actually said to her, I sound like such a kiss up. Because I met her. I said, what is it like to walk through the world with that kind of beauty? Because it is powerful to have that kind of beauty.
It is.
It is.
She is beautiful. She's beautiful woman.
On the inside, and very interesting and very layered. Like she wears these beads all around her tummy, and there's something represent like these some sort of ritual, and she's just a multi-layered, and we really didn't get to see that on Atlanta, or at least I did. Right. And then Taylor came, and I thought, oh, Taylor's just going to be sort of like the quiet one, because that's how we remembered her when she left the show. She kind of was a little broken and really couldn't. She came out like a tiger. I was like, that's right, Taylor.
Did she?
Whoa.
Did she? Yes. Wow.
Really,
I'm not surprised.
Voice. She's happy. She's in a good place. She's actually now holds all these seminars for battered women. Like she's really, and that's, what I love about going back to what we were talking about before. There's something beautiful to watch and to witness is the evolution of a housewife. I know even going on at 50, grew so much in so many different ways, a lot of it confidence and in business and being able to publicly speak and having a voice and not being afraid and being less fearful and not being so self-conscious. Like the evolution of a housewife. And I always say that's what you should look for in a good housewife is the evolution of a housewife.
100%. 100%. So, I mean, let me ask this. Was there anything that started that has carried over into real life now? Or is there still a couple things that went on and went down in that house that you guys, there's some ladies who are unsettled still and kind of not speaking to each other?
Yeah, I mean, you probably saw the press about Vicky. I didn't realize, Vicky came and said, she did an interview with Bravo TV. She's going to kill me because she keeps telling me to knock it off. But she did it. She did an interview with Bravo TV. She said, Dorinda's taste isn't my taste. It's an old house in the middle of nowhere with nothing to do. And I was just like, okay, those are fighting words. Okay. So it definitely kind of ignited this kind of stuff, because here's the thing, folks, you can come after me, but you can't come after the lady, Blue Stone Manor, because she is beloved. She's the Disneyland of Bravo TV. That girl, you cannot come after Blue Stone Manor. That shit ain't gonna fly. So of course people didn't like it, because you don't have to love the way Blue Stone Manor is. It may not be your taste, but it's not some old place in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's in the Berkshires. It may not be.
Oh my God. It's like monumental. It's insane. Like you've invited me there actually a couple times.
And you never come.
And I'm coming. And we always say, I want to do the fall. Like, I think I would love the fall there. That would be my favorite.
Listen, the thing about it's just a magical place, and it means a lot to me, and it holds a lot of memories. And we did it, we did, and I mean, Richard and myself did a beautiful job, but not only renovating it, but restoring it. I mean, I think the thing that kind of bothered me when Vicky said that, I mean, she was talking like I was like, yeah, we actually have running water in toilets. I mean, it's actually a beautiful, Architecture Digest and Wall Street Journal had it in their publication. So something's nice about it, right?
Oh,
so that bummed me out. And that I didn't really realize that, but I think Vicky was going through a bad time when she came up to the house. And I don't think she really was fully, like, some of the girls were really more in it than others.
Got it. And she wasn't.
And you'll see that, like, right from the time I watched the first episode, and right as she gets to the gate, she starts, oh my God, where are we? I don't know where it is. Look at the house. It looks scary.
The complaining started.
Yes.
Yes. So and I could totally see that rubbing you the wrong way. I mean, come on.
No, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The
100%.
She said to me when I'm showing her my dining room and living room, what do you do around here? It's like, well, we do this.
We hang out. We look at the view. We relax. We have a glass of wine. Yes.
And actually, there's a lot to do in the Berkshires. I actually, like I said, I go there on Fridays and come back usually on Mondays. So but if you want to go to Shakespeare and Company, or if you want to go to the Boston Symphony, or if you want to go to Tanglewood, or if you want to there's all kinds of stuff you can do there. I don't particularly, because I always have a lot of company and throw dinner parties and part of the Botanical Garden in Chesterwood and have my kind of group. Hunt Sloan just moved down the street from me. He bought the castle. So like I have this curated little, almost, what it is for me? The Berkshires for me are very reminiscent of my days of living in London and Britain, because it's very dinner party, very old school, but that's more me.
It's such a vibe. Just with the picture, your Christmas, the way you decorate everything. Well, let me just say this. I cannot wait to watch this tonight. Listeners, make sure everyone checks it out.
Do you want to thrive outside the 9 to 5? Then Mom's Exit Interview Podcast is for you. In each episode, you'll hear from inspirational everyday moms taking control. Entrepreneurs, stay-at-home moms with side hustles, consultants, and more. Plus, experts with actionable tips like Rebecca Minkoff and Gretchen Rubin. I'm Kim Rittberg, former Us Weekly and Netflix executive and mom of 2. I've got the best boss now, me, and I've never been happier. Whether you're in transition or already made a change, let's create a more flexible and fulfilling life together. Listen to and follow Mom's Exit Interview on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
But Dorinda, before I let you go, I do this really fun thing, and it's called Grilled with Gorga. Okay. It's just going to be
something, Melissa. Let me just say something. I'm not just saying this because you're very good on this podcast, girl.
Oh my God. Thank you.
You're very natural.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you for saying that. And I know you're so good with radio too. So coming from you, thank you.
Rhythmic and just welcoming, and it's fluid. I gotta say, I'm impressed and very, not surprised, but just very impressed.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. You've always been a woman supporting a woman though. So I love that about you. So thank you. But good. I'm glad I'm pleasing you right now. All right. So listen to this. We're going to do this fun little thing. It's called Grilled with Gorga. Okay. Rapid fire questions. Just give me your quick answers. Okay. Are you ready to be grilled?
I am ready to be grilled.
Okay. Your first celebrity crush.
My first celebrity crush was the guy from, what was his name? Peter Frampton.
I don't even know who that is. Who is that? What movie was he?
My first, you mean when I was 16? Peter Frampton, the singer.
That's baby, sad. I love your way. Yes, that guy? Yes. Okay, yes. I know. I don't know names, but okay. Okay, I love that. Okay, what's your favorite 80s song?
I'll tell you what my song, I love the song Can't Touch This. MC
Hammer, yes. I can do the dance too.
And I also
MC Hammer.
I love you so. I want you to know. I love that song because I'm gonna sing it. I sing it to Hannah all the time.
Dorinda, I am such a big 80s girl. Like if it were up to me, we would live in the 80s.
I do aerobics.
Oh, I know you do. And I just threw like a really fun roller skating 80s party. That's my jam. I want to live in the 80s. I want to listen to 80s.
There's our date with you and Joe and me. We could go to the roller skating ring in Rockefeller Center. They play the best music. You're going to want to Shazam every song. It is unbelievable to go to Rockefeller Center, everyone, at 8, 9 at night, have a drink, go roller skating, and just be in the middle of New York City roller skating. It is phenomenal.
Do you know I've never done that? I need to do that. I definitely need to do that.
It just opened up like 6 months ago, and it's amazing.
Before we go to the next question, I need you to sing my song for a minute because you sang it. Sing my song, Dorinda. Sing my song.
Well, yeah. I know it's on display, but what did I say before?
You said in control, in control.
Yeah. I want to sing your song. In control, in control, in control. You gotta be. You're like, no.
I'm like, it's on display.
I love that on display thing, and I especially love the dancing.
Wait, so for everyone who doesn't know, Dorinda came in before just literally thinking she was singing my song, and she was like, in control, in control, in control. I'm like, no, doll, it's on
control. You're like, it's not in control, Dorinda.
It's on display,
That's the Dorinda version. In control.
Jesus, I love it. Okay, what is your biggest regret you've ever had?
My biggest, you mean on Housewives or just presently
just
in life?
Your biggest regret.
You know what's so funny? Hannah just asked me that the other day on a walk. My biggest regret in life is not believing in myself enough. I really was, in my early 20s and 30s, I was very doubtful of myself. And I definitely leaned to men, like my husband's, to grow myself within. I was like an egg in their nest. I had to find a comfortable nest in my husband's to grow. And really, when I look back now, I was such a great, and both husbands have said this, you know, I was such a great, the reason I say this, and before people start slamming on me, is I was watching The First Ladies. I don't know if you watched that series on Netflix. It's about the different wives of presidents and just how they played such a huge behind the scene role in their lives, and now they're bringing these women forward. Betty Ford, Michelle Obama, Eleanor Roosevelt. Like, these women were behind the scenes, just keeping it all together. You know,
secretly, quietly
holding the fort down, doing the dirty work, supporting, raising the family, and making their mark. And you know, I don't regret it. I just wish that I was a little bit more confident as a woman in her 20s.
That's fair. That's fair. What is the best decision you've ever made?
The best decision, I mean, beside having Hannah, which is the obvious one, the best decision I ever made was the best decision I've ever made throughout my whole life in transitions is always staying close to God.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Jesus.
No, but it's true. Whenever
that is true.
I'm doubtful, I always leaned on my spirituality, and it's never failed me. It's been my best handshake I've ever had.
Wow. I love that. That just hit me. That's amazing. Love that. For real. What is your pet peeve? What drives you crazy?
Arrogance.
Fair. Good. Okay. Worst date you've ever been on? Worst date?
Oh my God. Just recently. I've been on a guy that was told me that he was going to this is exactly what he said. He said, let me teach you a few things. And I said, let me tell you something. I said,
I already can't handle it. I already know how you looked at him when he said it.
I literally was on my second martini, and he said, he said, do you mind if I just take a moment, maybe teach you something? He said, first of all, I wish you wouldn't talk about your husband so much, because probably future dates are going to like that. So that rubbed me wrong. And second, which may be some truth in it, but it rubbed me wrong. Okay.
Maybe there's a little truth in that, but go ahead.
But it rubbed me wrong. We were too early in the date for him. Too early in the dates for him to say that. Second of all, but I did take it as advice, by the way. So person out there, I did sort of, because I do tend to do that. But I'm a new dater. Second of all, we said, let me teach you something. I said, let me tell you something. I'm a dog that's been in traffic. I've crossed that fucking highway. I've crossed it back. I've gotten hit by a couple cars. You don't need me how to play in traffic, sir. Don't teach me shit. And I got up and left.
Oh, wow. That's a shitty date. That was a shitty date. Did you eat? Did you have a cocktail first? Anything? Jeez.
Yeah, we did. We had a couple cocktails and ate, but I left before
oof, he was not for you. Not for you. You are like amazing with quotes, by the way. Like you got a million up your sleeve. I just want to tell you that. All right.
I think it's hard. You know, I think the problem is being out there dating again for me. And I said this the other day to someone, is that, you know, I'm a pretty evolved woman. I know what I like. I've had some pretty great people friends, experiences that, I don't know. I just hope to God that there's someone out there that can fit with me still. I pray to God.
There is. He's going to have that vibe that you have. It's going to be that old school. It's going to be very similar to a Mr. Joe Gorga, for real. Yeah. It's going to be like a hard working.
British. You know what? I think I could do British.
Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, you definitely could, because you have that sternness about you.
And quirky and dry, and you know what I mean?
All right, what was the first?
People don't realize it, but I'm quirky as shit.
You are quirky. You definitely are. I love that about you. What was your first concert you've ever been to in your life?
I'll tell you exactly. It was the Genesis Light Show at SPAC.
Oof, amazing. Tell me something about you that would surprise us.
I'll tell you something that people don't believe, that I'm very, very passionate and very, very, when I am involved in a relationship, I'm very sexual.
Are you? Dorinda's sexual?
People don't realize that. When I'm in, I'm like a cheerleader. When I'm in it, I'm in it.
Really? Do you do the lingerie? You put on all the pretty clothes? Wow.
But I don't do it often. I'm like, what I said to someone the other day, sex for me is like a Birkin bag. I don't have too many. I don't do it too often, but when I do it, it's great. I'm the Birkin bag.
When you do it, you do it right.
This is why. That's why I keep myself very flexible.
This is why Joe Gorga hates me. Your favorite late night snack. What do you eat at night when you're watching TV?
My favorite late night snack is the same thing every time. It is a small scoop of Friendly's vanilla ice cream, Hershey's syrup, crushed almonds, and Cool Whip.
Every night.
Not every night, but that's my special treat.
I love
don't really
it.
Eat sugar, but that's my favorite
good.
thing to have, especially with like a wafer.
Nice. Okay. What was your first job you ever had? Your very first job?
My very first job was, I was the ice cream scooper at Friendly's. I ran the window at Friendly's ice cream window.
Look at that.
I was good at it. I was so good at it.
You gave people the right amount. You didn't jip them. You gave them like nice scoop.
A mean fribble.
Oh my God. I love it. What show are you watching right now on TV? So what are you binge watching right now?
I just finished The First Wives, which is incredible, on Netflix. I've been doing a lot of streaming, and I'm definitely watching Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes. Well, aren't we all?
I love
so juicy.
I love the girls. I feel like I know them all. I saw Kyle the other night, and I just love those girls. I just think, why? Again, because they're authentic.
I do too. I watch it too. I'm being honest with you. I watch it too.
And I'm also watching, I just finished that terrible one that freaked me out, Yellow Jackets. But it was
Yellow
good.
Jackets.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that. I couldn't get into it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I always end with this question. If the day is all about Dorinda, how does Dorinda treat herself? How do you treat yourself?
Oh my God. I'll tell you how I treat myself, but I try to do this on Sundays. I check the fuck out. I turn off my phone. I focus on being quiet. I try to be outside. Nice. I try to walk and exercise and just really try to reconnect with myself without any outside noise. I try to go very old fashioned, listen to people, have conversations. And really, if anybody can do a gift for themselves, choose a day a week or a day a month and turn the digital shit off. It changes your life. I call it the digital detox.
I need to take your advice, to be honest, but it's so true. It's taken over everything.
And we're going to find, folks, that's really interesting. People get angry at you. I've been trying to call you all day. It's like, well, you know what? I wasn't available. It's Sunday.
And it's the Lord's Day. It's the Lord's Day.
Did anyone die? This thing that I've been really talking to Hannah about and just questioning myself and sitting with this constant connection, this constantly being connected, feeling responsible to be connected, being responsible to respond so quickly. It's killing me.
Right.
It's killing me. I long for Hannah and I had a conversation. She's like, Mommy, when you lived in London and you had me, you had no cell phones. I'm like, no cell phones or nothing. She said, well, when you went out, what did you do? I said, I left the number with the restaurant. She goes, oh my God, was that scary? I'm like, well, you're standing here today. And the thing that the days of like just being at a restaurant and really being forced to be engaged and communicate and just be, even the awareness that when you don't have your phone, you'd be surprised how much more you're aware of your surroundings.
And just using your brain.
And it's good for your posture.
Ugh. Well, Dorinda, listen, I'm a fan. I have always been a fan. No, for real. I've always been a fan since day one. Thank you so much for coming on today. I love talking to you. Listeners, everyone do yourself a favor. Make sure you check out Dorinda on the latest season of The Ultimate Girls Trip. It's out tonight on Peacock.
Yeah!
Dorinda, keep remaining the wonderful woman that you are. We all love you. And I need to see you soon. I need to come up. Fall's coming. I'm coming to the Berkshires.
Come. You know my door's open. My gates are open.
I know.
Give Joe a hug.
So good to see you. Bye.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.